Welcome to Players Only, your backstage pass behind the scenes of today's PC and video game industry. I'm Scott Steinberg, and this week we're taking a look at video game systems like the Wii, PlayStation 3, and Xbox 360. But with three great options competing for your gaming dollar, co-host Casey Young and I ask, who's winning the next-gen console war?
Nintendo's obviously winning the next-gen console race if you count the Wii as a next-gen console, but it's so different that really Sony and Microsoft have their own war going on, and that's like a neck-and-neck race. It's really anyone's game. It's the craziest console war we've ever seen.
I think that's a great system for extremely casual gamers who perhaps take it out of the closet periodically to play when grandma's in town. I think the gamers who are accustomed to bigger blockbuster experiences, they're looking for that high-def experience, or have gravitated towards the PS3 and will continue to gravitate towards the PS3. So in 2 years, I think you'll see some of our competition look a little long in the tooth graphically and from a fidelity standpoint. We've built that PS3 for a 10-year horizon. So when you buy it now or you buy it, in 2 or 3 years, you don't have a planned obsolescence to deal with.
I think the Sony PlayStation 3 was playing catch-up for a long time with Xbox 360. But I think they're finally there, so I've noticed that if you look at my library at home, it was all about Xbox 360, and now I'm watching the PlayStation 3 pile of games slowly catch up, and it's probably going to overtake. So I think PlayStation 3 for me is going to be the ultimate choice.
I personally like Xbox very much because of the online features they have, and it's very, very nice to develop on.
Xbox 360 has a chance of winning the console war, and if you look at its strengths really start with, I think they start with live. They concepted, they pioneered this. If they can keep pushing that and keep innovating that and keep coming up with new and fresh and different things, I think the ability to connect, the ability for what Live offers, is their true route to success.
Right now, obviously, Wii's a powerhouse, but I think you always see PlayStation 3 is really starting to tool up. You get this feeling they're having their year. At the same time, 360, just incredible library of games, a couple of hours, but just more stuff coming down the pipe. Like it's probably the biggest, it's maybe like a horse race at some level. Like a couple of years from now, we'll look back and maybe some may be a little bit ahead, but you're going to have three strong competitors, and I think that's really good for the business because there's a lot of different options where you're putting stuff.
Maybe so, but some have suggested that the future of the business lies with a single universal console. Is there any hope for that, though?
I don't think there'll ever be a one-console future. The Xbox 360, I think, is their year was last year. I think the PlayStation 3 is going to have its year this year. And I think those two are going to keep kind of going back and forth at which one's the best console. And I think the Wii is always going to have a place in the market for, if nothing else, for casual gamers. So even if Microsoft or Sony were to knock out the other one, there's no way I think that the Wii would go away. So you're always going to have at least two consoles.
One console future. I think for right now, the closest thing you're going to find is going to be the PC, but the whole point of a console is to make a low-price, mass-market device, and the PC certainly isn't going to be that. This is the first time we've had three console manufacturers all doing quite well for themselves in the market. So, if anything, maybe it'll branch out even further.
You're already seeing the Wii being slightly more casual, slightly more family. You might end up seeing 360 or future iterations of PlayStation being a little more core gamer. So, in that sense, it could be thought of as one console market. But I really think of it as being a broader application of consoles to a broader reach of people.
You look at what the Wii did, they took a real tangent. They're not fighting the HD war, they're fighting a gameplay war. So as soon as someone dominates in something, you can guarantee some company somewhere in the world is going to come up with something to compete with it. It's just, you can't have economics dictates that you can't have like this unchallenged profitability. It doesn't exist. As soon as there's money being made, someone's going to try and make it. The worry would be if you actually had the one console future, it'd be pretty stagnant. Where's the innovation going to happen? If that whoever owns that console doesn't want to update or change, we're all going to be kind of starved out in a sense.
And what about the PC? Where does that fit into the mix? And is it really dead like critics have been saying?
On a global basis, that it probably is true because in Asia you just can't sell a PC game, and that's why we have multiplayer MMOs. MMOs were invented to get around piracy. On the Western side, U.S. and Europe, I don't think piracy is the reason. I frankly think that this generation of consoles is the first generation ever that is faster than the standard PC in a home. If you go back to late 90s, the fastest console was 33 megahertz or something, and most homes had at least a 733 megahertz processor. This time, the PS3 and the 360 are faster than any PC, and so there's no real reason to buy the PC game unless you just love sitting in an uncomfortable chair, watching a small monitor, and using a keyboard and mouse instead of a controller. That's a dying breed. So I think PC games are going away more because of the comfort factor. I think they'll come back once we have some kind of a computing power in the living room, even if it's distributed. But if you have a wireless keyboard and you can use a mouse and play a PC game on your big screen TV, I think PC games will thrive.
In terms of PC gaming being dead, I don't think it's entirely dead. There are a lot of casual games, the casual game market, obviously that's huge on the PC. The casual game customers aren't the type to really have consoles. They like their computers, they like having their laptops. People in their office on their lunch break aren't going to break out an Xbox 360 and start playing. So I think PC games are here to stay, but I think they're also evolving.
PC gaming is in a transition period. Yes, there is a lot of piracy, but I think that online distribution and things like Steam and other digital rights management controlled online platforms will have to get the PC market where it goes. Maybe it's a transition from buying a box product to buying an online distributed product.
I think there's certainly been an evolution. We've seen the next-gen consoles generate an incredible amount of excitement, the PS3, the 360, the Wii. DS was very strong. But PC is still really in massively multiplayer, the leading platform and the only place you can really play MMOs. A lot of these independent games that are getting a lot of excitement and interest these days are PC, on the PC platform. And the connectivity, the online gameplay is still a powerful part of PC gameplay. And PC is evolving technologically as well. So no real telling what's going to happen.
Evolution. It's bound to happen to any industry, but who's going to come out ahead here when it comes to survival of the fittest?
I think in 2008, Nintendo wins. I think that Sony is going to surprise people this year. They'll probably outsell the 360, not by a lot, but by 10-15%. And I think over the long term, as we get full adoption of HD monitors, Sony wins the full console battle.
In terms of who's winning the console war, it's a bit of a fallacy. I mean, it's an argument that it's a horse race that the media likes to keep up on. But with the amount of money and the amount of effort that's going into it, you really can't have a winner. It's not like an election where somebody has to be chosen and they're going to settle on. It's not like a format war like with HD, DVD, and Blu-ray where somebody has to win for consumers to adopt it. You've got billions of dollars. Year over year, the industry spent more money on games this year than last year, and they're doing it with 3 consoles instead of 2. I don't think there's a lot of consumer demand to have a specific winner.
We have record numbers of players playing on all 3 platforms right now. That there's no clear winner right now. People are playing on everything, and the point is, a lot of gamers are playing, and that's what's important.
Having competition tension in the marketplace makes for better content. I think the developers are challenged to raise the bar each time out of the gate, and the first-party and third-party publishers are challenged to continue to deliver more content for more discriminating fans. So in the end, the fans are going to win.
And that's a wrap. We'll see you next week on Players Only.